Welcome to Bat Flips and Party Tips, the perfect podcast for baseball and good times in Omaha. Here are your hosts, Andrew Rogers and Anna Bellinghausen.
Where we flip bats and tip the party. It's Bat Flips and Party Tips with Anna Bellinghausen. Bellinghausen.
There you go.
Gosh, that's a long one. How
Really
did you
boring,
write that
right?
on like the ACT? Bellinghausen. Did you run out
tough.
of characters?
Luckily, my first name is just 3 letters, so it works.
Okay,
Perfect.
we'll stick with Anna Bell Media. That's where
That
you can
works.
follow her on Twitter. I'm Andrew Rogers, joined by Stephen Schoch, former Virginia Cavalier, and 2 other spots as well, UMBC and Appalachian State.
Yes, Appalachian.
Appalachian? All right.
So I'm just
Got
I'm doing it out
Appalachian
of the
State.
goodness of my heart.
See, he's helping me out. I can't speak today already, but hey, this guy is a big deal. He's the host of Schoch Factor on D1 Baseball. Is that with Cespedes Barbecue?
Yeah, it is. It's a good thing that I'm the host, just because it'd be awkward to be on the Schoch Factor and not be the host. You know, it's like
Right.
that'd be
You're
weird.
the Schoch Factor.
Yeah, I guess. And we spelled it wrong too. They spelled SCHOCH like how you spell my last name.
Right.
So
Right.
it would have confused a lot.
It would be a little, yeah. It would be weird.
And now I envy you a little bit, Steven, because I have this crazy man crush on Tim Elko. And you got to talk to him yesterday. Is he everything that I would expect him to be?
He is one of the greatest people to walk this earth. I'll
Wow.
say it.
That's amazing.
That's one thing I learned from like talking to the players the other day is like these guys all are awesome. Like that's what I love about college baseball and why I wanted to play it so long is no matter where you go or what team you're on, you're always going to run into a similar type of people. And like, don't get me wrong, these people are special, but the baseball player in general is just such a rare breed, but they're all so cool.
Bat Flips and Party Tips in conjunction with D1 Baseball, sponsored by Elkhorn Training Camp, one of the nation's best indoor baseball facilities, headquartered in the college baseball capital of Omaha, Nebraska, with over 50,000 square feet of training space, 4 locations, and plans to open a new state-of-the-art 25,000 square foot building this fall. Elkhorn Training Camp has everything your baseball player needs for development, whether it's team training space, private lessons from former collegiate and pro players, or batting cages featuring HitTrax technology. Elkhorn Training Camp's offerings are unsurpassed for your baseball player. Check out their facility and programs at elkhorntrainingcamp.com. I believe, and you know, don't quote me on this, but I believe Stanford was actually practicing at that training camp earlier today.
I won't quote you on it. I promise. You're safe. But maybe. I don't know.
Neither does Stephen doesn't know either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, games begin at 1 o'clock Central here Friday, June 17th. Oklahoma and Texas A&M, 2 very, very fun teams to watch. Oklahoma, a very small ball-based team, and Texas A&M, highly undervalued coming into this tournament.
Yeah, I think you can make a lot of money on Texas A&M. I don't gamble because I don't understand the numbers and the math behind it, but
I can help you with that.
I'm pretty sure people didn't expect them to win, and they're winning, so that's how you make people money, I feel like.
I feel like that's a story with a lot of the teams here. I love the underdogs that we have in this entire College World Series. I think it just makes it a lot more special, a lot more fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
This one interesting. Pitching matchups. Jake Bennett for Oklahoma, I believe. I haven't seen the official report out for him yet, but I believe it's him. I can't imagine it's anybody else.
Yeah, he's really good at baseball.
And Nathan Detmer for A&M.
Also good.
Also very good. Detmer in the postseason has allowed 14 runs on 18 hits for a 10.80 ERA.
That's all right.
Think he went around?
That's all right. I met him on the street the other day, and he's been in good spirits, so
Yeah.
as long as you bring a positive can-do attitude to the mound, that's all you can really ask of a pitcher. Because, you know, if you go out there with confidence, sometimes good things happen. Sometimes bad things happen, but that's baseball. You deal with it, you know?
We talked on Wednesday. Oklahoma's making their 11th appearance in the College World Series, first since 2010. What do you think? Do you think the lights are going to be too much for them?
It really depends. I think with a lot of guys, like, you know, at the end of every practice, every game, you're breaking it down. You're saying Omaha. You're trying like hell to get here, and you get here. And for me, I have the question: what do you say now when you break it down? Because it's like here. I don't know. But as long as you keep the game simple in your head, because baseball is, while a lot of things can happen, it's a super simple game. It's 2 guys, one's throwing something, one's trying to hit something, and there's, of course, auxiliary guys trying to field that thing. But as long as you keep the game simple, you know, the mound is 60 feet, 6 inches away from home plate, just like it is everywhere else, except like Williamsport, small fields. But as long as you keep it simple in your head, you can be all right. And that's coming from a dude who didn't even pitch good out here. So, yeah.
That was like the overwhelming message when I talked to the players and coaches yesterday for opening ceremonies. It was just all about the teams being themselves, and like, this is the game they've been playing. It's a kid's game. When you look at it, it's funny because, you know, you're a grown man dressed in this baseball uniform playing a kid's game, and they have to just remember that. Don't let the lights get too bright for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, when you guys were out there for opening ceremonies, obviously yesterday was pre-Fan Fest, a lot of activities for people to do. There was a lot of movement in downtown Omaha. The tents were all up. The bars were all open. You guys were on the field, though, watching these players warm up. You were talking to them. You had already kind of alluded to that, Anna, but here's kind of a more fun, interesting question. Who was your favorite player to talk to? And this is a team, so I'm not saying, you know, I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm rooting for Ole Miss. This is your favorite player, so this is why they pull at your heartstrings a little bit.
So I only got to speak to him very briefly. I'm interviewing him later today. But Sonny DiChiara, because he is a big boy making freaking noise. And I saw him and I gave him a hug. He is the most jolly fella you'll ever come across. Like, that dude, he's one of the types of people where he leaves people happier than before he ran into them. And you know, you look at him and you're like, nah, I don't want to run into that guy. He didn't actually run into me. He just hugged, you know.
It would have been like knocker balls.
Yeah.
Stephen would have gone down.
I would have gotten bodied. But the dude he's just one of the nicest people. And I talked to a lot of guys everybody was super nice and super appreciative. Like, I love talking to Peyton Graham, Ivan Melendez, Tim Elko, obviously. Like, these guys are staples of college baseball, and I have such a respect for them because, you know, I'd be nothing if they weren't doing cool stuff, because all I do is talk about cool stuff.
Obviously.
It'd be pretty
You're
dry
a cool guy. Your dogs even said so.
Yeah, they did. They speak English, which most dogs don't.
Yeah, it's hard to train.
Yeah. As a highly intelligent individual myself, I kind of get on their wavelength. I'm like Caesar Milan, but longer hair, I would say.
Only difference.
Yeah, only difference.
Yeah, you guys are spinning images of each other.
Yeah.
I would say the Sooner team was really fun to talk to.
Yeah.
They had a lot of personalities on their team, and I think they gave some hilarious trivia question and answers. So I talked to a lot of guys, gave them some questions about Omaha and just trivia about the city and the state. And I think one guy thought Arunza was a bird. There was a lot of funny things that went on with the Oklahoma team. Those guys have a lot of personality. They feel loose and ready to play, and I think that's exactly what you want for a team coming into this.
Away from the baseball side of things for a second, we are at Lefty O'Tooles having a great time. There's people, just standing room only. They're flooding in downtown right now. And the fans, you know, it's different for you this year because especially after what happened a couple of years ago with the pandemic and then, you know, trying to just rebound and get back to normal, you know, it's going to be a cashless environment when you're down here. So just as a PSA, a reminder, do not have cash. Everybody's using card right now, so make sure to have those cards on hand. But for you guys, what do you think they should take advantage of? Because the bar scenes are incredible. FanFest is incredible. Rocco's has a Jell-O shot countdown going on right now. Stephen tweeted about it earlier. And was Arkansas in the lead?
Yeah, I think Arkansas is at 64. Last year, the scoreboard had, so Mississippi State won the whole tournament. They also won the shot scoreboard, which is, in my mind, pretty impressive. They bought I don't remember the numbers of it, but the Jell-O shots were $4.
Were they four figures? Were they in the four figures?
Yeah,
they bought $11,000 worth of shots for for the trip. Like
at least 90% of that state traveled up for the College World Series.
They were all here. It was all maroon.
Oh, trust me, I know. But the thing I would take advantage of most, and what I think is the coolest part about this, is how accessible the players are right now. Like, guys will walk around the baseball village and just hang out because that's what they like to do. Like as a college player, connecting with fans was my favorite part of it. Like, obviously I love playing the game. I love being with my teammates, but like being able to go out and like walk around and get recognized by a little kid who's like, you're that guy. Like, I want to be like you when I grow up. And it's like, one, don't be like me, kid, be you, because you're probably going to be cool. But also just like knowing you have that impact on the game. And that honestly helped me out a lot here last year where like I was kind of bummed that I got shelled, but then I still had kids coming up. Like, it was so much fun watching you pitch because it's like I was that kid, like, who I thought college baseball players were gods growing up. Like, I grew up near University of Maryland. I thought those dudes were the damn cat's pajamas. And that's the University of Maryland. Not to be mean to them, but they were mean to me, so I'll do it. They weren't that good back then. And I still, like, regarded them in the highest esteem. Like, they were right up there with Cal Ripken for me. So, like,
they were your team.
Yeah, exactly. So just remembering, like, those moments as a kid, thinking, like, wow, these guys are awesome. And knowing that I became one of those guys, like, it gave me a ton of pride. Also, this song is really good. I don't know if it's going to be on the podcast.
I feel like you use your platform.
It may be sneaking through our mics.
It might
fine.
be. Great song. You use your platform really well, though, to help spread the game, especially college baseball, because it's not something that's on TV every day until May and June. So getting that exposure, I'm sure, means a ton to you as a former player, and then still getting to cover the game. What does that mean to you?
It honestly means everything, because, like, going away from college baseball and growing up, like, baseball was my whole entire life. Like, everything I have in life is because of baseball. Like, I would have never met my fiance if it weren't for baseball. I never would have gotten a degree from University of Virginia or UMBC or most colleges if it weren't for baseball. And, like, obviously the platform, all from baseball. And, like, I just want to give that back to the players, because I feel like there's a lot of places where the attention goes in college sports. And obviously it's not all towards college baseball. And I just want to be able to use that platform to give back to the sport and grow the game as much as I can, because, the game gave me so much, and I want to share the spotlight it gave me with other players.
Yeah, and playing the game got Stephen very far, not only in baseball, but also on the social media train. Stephen, you have a blindfold in front of you. I need you to put it on. We are going to play Dot or Not, and if you don't remember what happened last year with Stephen, here's the soundbite.
I heard a fan offer free Dippin' Dots if I blew it, which the price of Dippin' Dots with inflation is just unreal. So for a brief moment, I was like, damn, Dippin' Dots sound good. But also I thought in the back of my head, we win today, we win tomorrow, or tonight. We're going to be here another day. That's more per diem. So that means I can buy my own Dippin' Dots and be a winner.
So that statement right there got Stephen some instant fame by just fans in general, because I don't know what the love is about Dippin' Dots, but people love these things.
Hey,
I think they're overrated.
We already had
These guys are probably going to grill me because
Dots,
of it.
Andrew.
But we're going to play a game called Dot or Not with Stephen Schoch.
It all rhymes. How about that?
How about that?
You know what I think would be an interesting one, a little bit easier, like if this is a challenge for me? Dot or Tot, whether it's a Dippin' Dot or a tater tot.
Wow. You think those match up pretty well?
Not at all. That's why I think I'd be better at it, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay, so here's the game. We have in front of us actual Dippin' Dots, name-branded Dippin' Dots, and then I went to the store and found itty bits, okay?
Oh, not even mini melts.
No, I believe they are Kemp's, if I'm correct.
Something like that.
We're gonna have Anna spoon feed these into your mouth.
I'm spoon feeding you.
And you have to tell us if these are Dippin' Dots or not. Beware, they are the same consistency.
Okay.
So have fun.
How about I hand you the spoon?
That might work better.
Hey, here we go.
Right.
Here comes the choo-choo train.
It's going to the hand.
If you do,
there you go.
Here comes the choo-choo train. Okay, first bite. Dot or not?
Not.
Not. Is he right? Wait. Hold on.
Not.
He's going not. Yes, sir. Those are itty bits. Do you know the flavor?
Yeah, that's mint chocolate chip.
That a boy.
Wow.
That a boy. Okay. Next one. Should we use the same spoon? Let's use the same spoon.
Yeah. Do you have them in a
palate.
cup?
They're in a cup. Yeah.
Do you?
Here.
Could I just grab the cup and pour it in my mouth?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's actually good.
I got shaky hands.
It's a shot of Dippin' Dots.
Well, now I know this one's Dippin' Dots then.
No, or itty bits.
Is this banana?
Close. Banana split. I'll give it to you.
I'm allergic to bananas.
I hope you're lying.
I'm lying. These are Dippin' Dots.
Wow, 2 for 2. Okay. I see you.
All right.
Let's go with these. These are interesting.
Okay.
I like this game.
Yeah, you get free Dippin' Dots.
No, go ahead. He's just gonna. He's taking a shot.
We're just taking a shot.
Yeah,
Got it.
It's just easier on the hands. I got a sticky elbow.
okay.
I dropped a few.
Oh, got it.
He took it in like wine. Smell it. It's a nice 1930 rosé. I don't even know if that's rosé was around then.
Shake it around a little bit.
What are you thinking?
Is it vanilla? It's vanilla.
It is not vanilla.
It's chocolate. Wow.
That is not chocolate either.
What flavor am I?
That is. Try it again.
Here.
Try it again.
I put it?
Give it a sniff.
Does it really smell that weird? Can I get the flavor he's eating?
What flavor is it?
That one right there.
Should we reveal?
Well, I want to see if he can get this. I'm going to take a smell.
I think it's
Oh, no, you can smell that for sure. Go ahead.
Oh yeah,
I think it's
come on.
I think it's Dippin' Dots. I couldn't tell you the flavor. I don't know what's going on.
Cotton candy.
I've never even had the cotton candy flavor.
There you
Believe
go.
it or not.
Do you like it?
Mind
Pretty
blown.
solid. Pretty solid.
Okay.
Now, next one right
You
here.
can take that.
All right.
Bury it.
This is rainbow.
This is rainbow. I don't know if I can trust you because you thought cotton candy was chocolate.
Fair. It's not rainbow. It's cookies and cream. And it is. See, this is weird because I'm getting a lot of information, a lot of intel from the consistency, but there's cookie crumbles in this one.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Wait, what's going on in my mouth?
Oh, is there a party happening?
Yeah, it's like, is this Pop Rocks?
Here, I'm gonna take a bite too. And say,
This is weird, and I'm feeling Pop Rocks or Rice Krispies.
Whoa.
And I'm wondering if itty bitties can afford that technology. Can they pull that off? So I'm going to say yes, they can. I'm going itty bitties.
That is right. Itty bits with popping candy.
That's what was happening in your mouth.
I have no idea what just happened.
This is strawberry and cream with white confection popping candy. You're right. It's still going. It's like the fireworks show last night.
It's not going to stop, is it?
All right, last one. He's 4 for 4. If he can go 5 for 5, I will truly be impressed.
All right, last one.
Can they hear it?
I'm
It's like
wondering.
monsoon season in Omaha.
No scent.
No scent? Really?
Cookie dough Dippin' Dots.
It is not, but it is Dippin' Dots. Take another guess. He really is a dot expert.
I'm impressed.
I have no idea.
Just please don't say vanilla.
Oh, shit, I was gonna.
It's not vanilla.
Is it like Rocky Road?
No, this one is brownie batter.
I didn't even know they advanced it.
Go ahead, take off the blindfold, and I'll show you why we had to pour these in cups. Dippin' Dots now come in bags when you order them online. So here's the cotton candy one. Try smelling that now. See if you smell cotton candy.
If I see it, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That makes. What's that red, white, and blue one?
This is the red, white, and pop. You don't have to use a spoon because I just did, but it's
okay. Do you have any extras for my great friends?
Oh,
yes,
we
we have extra Dippin' Dots for having you
because he was
out.
going to stop at the stand, and I was like, "Hey, I'm pretty sure there's going to be Dippin' Dots. There should be an excess."
Right, he is a true Dippin' Dots enthusiast. Wow, I mean, I'm blown.
Wow, yeah, no, claps.
Kudos
Claps for Stephen.
Kudos to you, Stephen. Before we let you go, thanks for joining us too.
Thanks
by the
for
way,
having me.
Last thing, man. Who do you think wins this tournament?
The team that scores more points than the other team most consistently,
the team that
has
gets it
a
in the
great
basket.
chance. I think it's going to be Ole Miss or Oklahoma, and I say that because Oklahoma, they have a lot of motivation in their locker room, which I recently learned. I did not know this coming in, but in February of 2020, I played my first series with the University of Virginia, and it was against Oklahoma. First game, I get 1 inning save, I think, I think it was one inning save, and I had 4 strikeouts because I struck out the side and had a drop third strike where I just yanked a slider, went to the moon, but they swung. The next day, I gave up a home run that literally went across. If you've never seen Pensacola's field, give it a Google. In left field, there's a bit of water pretty far out there. It's somewhere in the middle of that water. But they took a picture of it, and it's in their locker room.
Oh, no.
So,
wow.
it is awesome. I learned that this weekend, and I wear it with pride because, you
said that's Oklahoma's field?
Or it's Pensacola Blue Wahoos.
Okay.
Okay.
I should have specified. I don't even know if there's water in Oklahoma. I don't know much about
I see. Yeah, so there's just a big patch of water.
Yeah, it's pretty far out there.
It looks like a backyard baseball field.
It's sick. It's a sick field. I love the Blue Wahoo Stadium.
Shout out Blue Wahoos.
I wouldn't be shocked if Ivan Melendez hits one in the Missouri. I joked about that on Wednesday.
I believe it.
He's a
I'm
tank.
going to be honest. Don't know anything about the geography of America. Sorry, I got
Where are you right now?
We're in the Midwest in Omaha, Nebraska.
That
Some would
boy.
call it the Plains. I don't know. I don't know what we should call it.
Do you know the state motto of Nebraska?
You're here. I don't know.
You're here.
The state motto. No, I do not. Is it Brian O'Connor lives here or lives next to here?
No, it's Warren Buffett town. No.
Oh, is he
No.
from here? Yeah, he is.
Which, funny story about Warren Buffett, if you want to hear a cool fan
I
story.
do want to hear a cool fan story.
Yeah.
Can we pull up this fan story? Do we have that one? Listen to this fan story.
Okay.
We're at the game. It's one of those super hot games back in the old Rosenblatt days, and the stadium's empty. And so we're looking around, and I'm a young kid. I'm like, well, let's just move down, get lower seats, and let's just enjoy the action. So we kind of work our way down, and we kind of sneak and get into these seats, great seats right behind home plate. And at some point, the ushers come down, and they tell us to move. And we were so shocked. I thought there's nobody around. Like, where are we doing? So we moved just a couple rows back and talked to the guy later. I was like, how did you know? How did you know that we were not supposed to be in these seats? And he goes, well, check the back of it. I look back. It's Warren Buffett's season tickets.
Can you imagine?
That's pretty cool.
What a story.
I would not move. And here's why. I would say, look, Warren, this is America. This is all about you want something, you go and take it. And he would respect me for that.
Probably.
And he's old now. I don't think he could stop me.
I don't think so.
He could have a hit arranged. He could get rid of me and just disappear off the face of the earth. But that's later on. I think he'd respect me for it and be like, look, kid, you got gumption. You got moxie. That's what we need. It'd be like the teddy bear in that Ted, I believe the movie's called Ted.
Yep.
Where he works at the supermarket.
Sure
in
is,
his
yep.
interview, he's just a dick. And the guy's like, I respect you for it. It'd be like that, I think. Maybe.
So if Warren Buffett tapped you on the shoulder right now and said, that's my seat, you'd be like, no, Warren.
Be like, no, it's not. It is. This seat specifically has been molded to my butt right now. So.
And it's probably a
want
little
that
sweaty,
seat.
too.
Yeah, it is. The back of my knees, no bueno. This place is hot. It is hot.
And we are at Lefty O'Tooles. Man, thanks for joining us. Anna, tell them what the state motto is.
Honestly, it's not for everyone.
That's the motto.
So they hired like a company, I think, to come up with a state motto, and that was it. And it was like the idea behind it was, I guess, it being this like area that maybe not a lot of people know about. So it's like, I don't know. They tried to go and run with it. They had like a video of like people canoeing and cornfields and stuff, and the slogan
Because
is
Nebraska
honestly, it's
has
not for
corn.
everyone.
Is that essentially the grown-up terminology for built different? Is that what
Maybe.
they're saying? They're just
Probably.
I
trying
think
to flex
they should
on
have
the
hired
nation.
you to make the slogan.
I would have, and I
it
would have
should
done
said built
better.
different.
What would the slogan be before you leave?
Slogan would be, holy shit, it's hot.
There
You
you
don't
go.
expect it. And I would alternate for winter. Like every season gets its own motto, you know? Keep it spicy, keep it interesting. Like, oh shit, what motto is Nebraska going to drop this week? Who knows? Who knows? And yeah.
That's Stephen Schoch. Stephen, do a plug for you now.
Hey, my name is Steve. I sell real estate. If you want to buy a house, I know all about that process for the Sable House team of Remax Town Center in Millsboro, Delaware, but have a network of realtors nationwide can help you out. I have Twitter. It is Big Donkey 47. sound, you spell it the way it sounds. Those are two simple words, and then the number 47. If you don't know what number, just guess, because statistically speaking, you pick a number 1 to 147 is most commonly guessed. You know that?
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Did that play into the Twitter handle?
No, I picked 47 when I was 11.
Is that your baseball
you were
number?
part of that percentage that picked 47.
I am in the percent. I was not, in fact, built different.
There you go.
And then my Instagram is Stephen_Schoch. I host the Schoch Factor podcast on Division I baseball with the beautiful and great Jordan Schusterman and Jake Mintz. They're both beautiful and great. I don't want Jake to feel like he's not. But the Schoch Factor on D1 Baseball, their whole network, to find the podcast. It's great. I love working for them. They're freaking awesome people. So if you want to know about college baseball, follow me. Follow D1 Baseball on Twitter, and you'll learn more. How's that sound?
That's great, man. Thank you so much for joining us. It was just a grand pleasure to have you on.
Thanks so much, Stephen.
It was a grand pleasure being here. Thanks for feeding me and having me.
You're welcome.
Take the excess Dippin' Dots.
Well, no, don't take them all because I got to hand them out to kids.
That's fine.
So take a few for your boys.
25-year-old Steve and kids.
Yes. Yes. Thanks, man. That is Stephen Schoch. Wow, what a guest, Anna.
I am just so impressed with the Dippin' Dots expertise. I don't think I could have done it as well as Stephen did.
He's a true enthusiast. I mean, oh my gosh.
Incredibly impressive. I'm blown away, honestly. Lost for words, but now we have a lot of melting Dippin' Dots in front of us.
We're gonna have some Dippin' Doop for
Dippin' Doop,
soup. Yep. Dippin' Dot soup.
We're about to, because as Stephen alluded to, Nebraska is hot.
It is hot.
That is a
today.
fact.
What is it supposed to be, like 94?
Something like that. And then one of the days I think is supposed to get up to like 100, 102.
So make sure to stay hydrated if you're a fan in the ballpark or even a player, because the players always come back and listen to our podcast because they always bat flip. And we may see a lot of bat flips because home runs have been a thing this year. And I didn't do my own homework. Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald did this homework, but he had said on his podcast yesterday, this year teams are averaging 3.3 home runs per game.
That's insane.
Okay. Last year at the CWS, it was 1.75 home runs. After the first 6 seasons, Omaha saw just 50 total home runs hit, and that was at TD, now known as Charles Schwab. Last year's College World Series saw a record of 28 home runs hit, one of 3 CWS seasons that had 15 or more hits. So I know I just threw a lot of numbers your way, but should fans be ready for a lot of home runs? Should you be getting bleacher seats with these teams and these big power lineups?
Well, not only that, Ivan Melendez, whenever he's at the plate, I would have my glove in the air just ready and
like
prepared.
Smalls from Sandlot, please catch it.
Exactly, yes. And also, the stands out there are the best places to be. They have I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Sure am.
The sucks chant. Left field sucks, right field
and the
sucks.
Beach balls.
The beach balls. Yes, no, it's a party out there for sure. And you're going to catch a lot of home runs because that's what's been happening in college baseball. They always say, like Charles Schwab, just how it's built is a hard place to hit home runs. But guys kind of crushed it this year, so I'm expecting that to kind of keep up throughout the College World Series. I mean, everything's on the line, so guys are swinging away.
I appreciate you bringing up Ivan Melendez because this was going to go right into my next point because Notre Dame and Texas play later today at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Number 9, Texas, tied for 3rd in all of the NCAA with 128 home runs this season. I mean, that is just a monsoon amount.
A lot of power. Dangerous
You have the
lineup.
Hispanic Titanic, as you mentioned, and right after him is Murphy Staley. So it's not like you can just put Ivan Melendez on base.
No, because you got another guy that can hit bombs right after. So it doesn't matter what you do. Texas is a dangerous team. And I was listening to the D1 baseball preview show, and one of the guys said, I think it was Aaron, he said the winner of the Notre Dame-Texas game might be the one going to the College World Series final. And I thought that was a really interesting take because, I mean, those two teams are loaded with talent. And I think, Texas is the favorite. They're the team to beat this year. But Notre Dame, you cannot sleep on that team. When I talked to them yesterday, I brought up the upset versus Tennessee, of course, and none of them called it an upset. They're like, we expected this. We knew we were going to win. I love that mentality.
I love the confidence because that some would say beating Tennessee would be their College World Series.
Right.
And the fact that they know, no, we have some unfinished business still. We haven't been here in over 20 years. We know how to get it done. And I read an awesome article yesterday about Notre Dame and why them lacking in the home run category isn't a bad thing here at Charles Schwab Field because this field is vastly different than every other college park. For one, it's bigger.
A lot of foul territory, too. There's a lot of ground to cover.
There is. So Schwab Field measures 408 feet to straightaway center, 335 down the lines, 375 to the power alleys. That's just a shade bigger than Notre Dame's 400 to center, 330 down the line, and 380 to the power alleys.
Yep.
So really, I feel like Notre Dame's team is the most comfortable on this field.
For sure. I mean, if they've been playing in that size, when I was talking to some of the Texas guys, I mean, this is the closest they know they're going to get to an MLB stadium. And Troy Tulowitzki, one of their assistant coaches, said that, like, this is the stage where it kind of mimics an MLB game. I mean, they literally had an MLB game here in 2019. It was the first one in Nebraska ever. And it plays pretty much just like an MLB field. And it's good for these guys to get used to it, but it also, like, brings up the nerves for sure. And I think when you're standing probably at home plate, looking out into the batter's eye, that has to be so intimidating.
And I'm no meteorologist, but I know for a fact there's wind that comes in from right.
There is a lot of wind that comes in the stadium. Again, that it makes it harder for balls to get out, but a lot of power, a lot of home run hitters this year, so I don't think it'll be an issue.
So one more time breaking down these games, because Oklahoma and Texas A&M are going to kick us off here soon. What should people be looking for right away in this matchup, outside of the fact that you have Peyton Graham, one of the best shortstops that we may see down here at the CWS this year in particular, and A&M, who, like I said, may have the best fan base here with all the traditions that they bring.
A lot of cowboy hats.
A lot of cowboy hats.
When I was driving in here, lots of cowboy hats, and I love it. A lot of Southern teams, but this matchup is definitely interesting. I think Oklahoma is a pick for a lot of people. I know Kendall Rogers said he got them coming out of bracket 1. So Oklahoma is a dangerous team, and I think that it's going to be a good matchup with Texas A&M because, again, it's a team that kind of got slept on coming into the College World Series, and they're not favored, even though they have a number 5 ranking. So I think that's interesting. But Oklahoma, again, a team that's playing with a lot of motivation. Stephen mentioned it earlier. I think there's just so much that goes into both of those teams beyond the playing field, and I think they're playing for a lot more than just themselves.
I think A&M is going to struggle in the pitching category,
For
though.
sure, yeah.
I mean, they have Nathan Detmer, like I said, and Steven brought some really good insight to the table saying, no, he's forgotten about what has happened this postseason so far. Mm-hmm. It's a fresh slate now that you are in Omaha. But all in all, I just think, is Micah Dallas going to cover it? 5.4 ERA. Ryan Prager, is he going to cover it? Because he doesn't really go deep into these ball games.
Someone's going to have to step up.
But if Oklahoma can get by, I really don't know how I would venture to rank their pitching staff in this field either. So this is a very important matchup to me because I think the winner here is going to be set up to stay longer at the CWS.
For sure. It's all about winning your first game. It puts you in such a tough position, obviously losing that first game. And I think just getting that first one out of the way, get all the jitters out. It's a tough game to play, especially like leading off the College World Series for those teams. There has to be a lot of jitters for them. But again, you just have to play loose, be yourselves like those guys were telling me yesterday.
At the Notre Dame-Texas side, the pitching matchup for Texas, Pete Hansen. For Notre Dame, John Michael Bertrand, possibly two of the best pitchers here.
Pete Hansen, love the guy. Just throws absolute gas.
Both lefties, and the pitching depth for Texas is almost just as strong as Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame, if they didn't have Jack Finley, they would not be as deep in the rotation. But Finley, freshman All-American, has been lights out in the 8 starts that he's had this year. 6-2, 1.99 ERA. But the 1-2 punch that Texas is packing now with Tristan Stevens and his blow-up in the Super Regionals, I mean, come on. This is going to be a team that, hey, even if we lose the first game, we still have a shot to go deep.
Right. Pitching and defense wins ball games and ultimately wins championships. Some of the coaches were telling me yesterday that the one thing that travels with them is their defense. Maybe their bats aren't showing up one day, or maybe they're not the next day, and maybe some of these guys are intimidated by the big field and the bright lights, and maybe they're not doing as well in the batter's box. But again, if you have that intimidating defense that gets it done, gets those easy plays, and not making any errors, I think the team that ultimately will win this thing will have the least amount of errors and have the most sound pitching and defense. I think the runs and the hits will come and they'll go for sure at the College World Series, but pitching, defense, that is the key.
Anna just over here knocking over our Dippin' Dots, and that's going to just drip all over you now.
I was just thinking that.
Fair
these
warning.
stayed a little.
Did they stay compact in there? Now, those are today's games that we just broke down. Anna, who wins bracket 1? I'm putting you on the spot here. I'm sorry.
I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, good pick. I would say Notre Dame, believe it or not. So I know they have to face the juggernaut, the favorite right off the bat in Texas, but I really do like how John Michael Bertrand and Jack Finley are pitching right now. I love the way this team plays. They're a veteran group. You talked to them yesterday. The camaraderie of that group is, I would say, the most interesting to me because you don't normally see guys stay in a program for 3 or 4 years, and that's what you get with this Notre Dame team.
And I asked them why they came back, and they said it's for this moment. We knew we could get here. We knew we had the talent, we had the guys, and we had the willpower. And look at them. They're in Omaha.
Last thing here, we're going to break down Saturday's games because you will not hear us until Sunday. Arkansas, Stanford first. That will be the 1 o'clock game tomorrow. You have Ole Miss and Auburn at 6 o'clock. Let's start with Arkansas, Stanford. Anna, what do you think?
I could maybe see Stanford losing that, but I think Stanford will prevail.
Their offense is so good.
Yes. I don't know because Arkansas, another great team with a lot of talent. I mean, Stanford, arguably the most stacked team. But then again, I don't know. I could see Arkansas coming out really hot on that one, but don't count out Stanford by any means. I still think they're my pick for bracket 2. Spoiler alert, but I could see Arkansas pulling that one off.
Nebraska fans, are you rooting for Dave Van Horn? That's a big thing.
Dave Van Horn is like a household name, right? I think everyone from Nebraska loves him, and a lot of Nebraska fans kind of morph into Arkansas fans just because of Dave Van Horn and what he means to college baseball. Right
now, we are at Lefty O'Tooles right now. Fans keep flooding in right before the 1 o'clock starts. We are so close to getting the CWS underway. My thoughts on this. Arkansas's pitching against Stanford's offense. That's what we have here because you have just so much unpredictability with this Arkansas rotation. They haven't been overly great. Mm-hmm. And Dave Van Horn knows that. He talked about that. But they have Connor Nolan pitching today, 7-5, 3.86 ERA. Here's his postseason numbers, though. 2-0, 2.57 ERA in 14 innings. He's only allowed 4 earned runs, but he has 17 strikeouts to a 4-walk ratio. 17-4. That's what we're looking at here. He has been dealing when he's been on the mound. But now can you handle an offense that is a batting average in totality of 311? Right. 4 guys with 18 or more home runs. 8 guys have 9+ extra base hits. To further that point, I want Eddie Park to get a double today just so I can see him freak out at second because Anna said, or the interview that Anna had yesterday, they were talking about how Eddie has the best celebration. Yep. Show me it, Eddie. I want to see it.
We're all hoping he gets on second base. He hits a lot of singles, so we're waiting for the double, Andrew.
We are. I like offense more than pitching, so I'm going to take Stanford in this matchup as well. On the Ole Miss Auburn side, Auburn and Ole Miss played 3 times the first weekend of a SEC play this year. Ole Miss winning 2 out of those 3 games, but they outscored the Tigers 33-27. I mean, talk about scoring runs. We said in the regionals that Auburn likes to score. We know that Ole Miss likes to score after shutting out Southern Miss. But that early in the season, are you kidding? All those runs being scored. Where was the pitching?
It's crazy. I think this was one of the highest scoring regionals, super regionals in college baseball existence. It was ridiculous how many runs were put up on the board.
Now, Ole Miss, they've been hot postseason offensively. 53 hits in 5 games. Unbelievable. Against Auburn, like I said, 33 runs. That only came on 39 hits. Pitching, yeah, absolutely. They score most of their runs in the middle innings, so watch out for that. Pitching, coming off back-to-back shutouts in the Super Regional. Opponent batting averages against them is 172 since the start of regionals. Ole Miss just kind of is, to me, the most well-rounded team coming in. Yep. But is that good? Because we've seen teams have their up and downs and experience their up and downs. Ole Miss really hasn't yet. So maybe that is a kryptonite for them.
Right. Well, Ole Miss was a preseason top 5. People can't forget that. They were predicted to be a very top-tier team throughout the season. I mean, D1 Baseball had them in that top 5 preseason. They obviously had their struggles. They didn't look like the team that they thought they were, but they're playing that brand of baseball at the moments when it matters most, and that's right now. So they're playing like that top 5 team that everyone thought they could be. And now here they are showing up.
Again, the last team in one of the teams that nobody thought should be here. Auburn bullpen held Oregon State to 4 runs across 17 innings, 2.12 ERA. I talked about how bullpen is going to be very crucial because we kind of hammer down on starting pitching, but forget the bullpen as just as big of a part in this game as every other team. And especially if you're scoring most of your runs in the middle innings, if you're Ole Miss, if I'm Auburn, I'm thinking, okay, maybe my starter only goes 4 innings.
Right.
Because now maybe I can save his arm and throw a fresh pitcher in and maybe throw off the timing, the momentum of Ole Miss. I don't really know. I think Auburn's bullpen, though, is tough to get by.
Bullpens will be huge, especially because it's a shortened schedule with the College World Series. It's a back-to-back games, so that's really important to have your bullpen fresh and ready to go. And ultimately, again, I'll go back to it, pitching and defense, they win the ball games, and pitching will be huge for this because, again, you don't know how guys will perform on this stage. You don't know what's going through their heads. There's always a need for that bullpen to be fresh and ready to go every single day.
Now, Auburn, Sonny D, watch for him. Ole Miss,
Beast.
my boy, Tim Elko. Anna, who wins this matchup?
I'm going Ole Miss. I think they have absolutely nothing to lose, and they're going to come out of the gates firing, and maybe that will bite them in the butt in the end, but I think they'll come out the right way that Ole Miss should have been playing earlier in the season, and I think they're ready to have that chip on their shoulder and use it to their advantage. And Auburn's, I think, is a beatable team for Ole Miss, comparing the lineups, comparing the pitching matchups.
I like Ole Miss as well. The pitching matchups for Auburn, Joseph Gonzalez in game 1, 7-3 with a 2.95 ERA. Ole Miss, Dylan DeLucia, 6-2, 4.35 ERA. Anna, who comes out of bracket 2?
Well, I'll go back to it. Stanford, I think they're a team that has the best bats and the best combined pitching when it matters. I think if they get those guys going that they need to in their bullpen, this can be a lethal team for sure. It's a little bit of an interesting mix, though. I mean, again, like their pitching hasn't been completely consistent, but I think they'll show up when it matters. So I'm going to go with Stanford.
Ole Miss and Notre Dame. That is going to be our College World Series final.
All right.
Write that down. Ole Miss, Notre Dame. I'm taking 2 of the biggest dogs in this tournament. Now,
that's just you.
Now, that's not based on the betting lines, of course. But if you were looking at the teams as they made their way from regional to super regionals, more than likely you weren't picking Notre Dame and Ole Miss in your College World Series final. We are going to be on location on June 22nd at Slowdown. That is Sunday. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I skipped one. We're going to be on June 19th at Zipline. That, in fact, is Sunday. Now I'm going to get all mixed up with these actual days because I didn't write them down next to my schedule. June 22nd, I believe, is Wednesday at Slowdown. That'll be at noon as well. Oh, here we go. My producer, Sasha, coming in clutch. After that, Saturday, June 25th at 4 p.m. at Rocco's. That's right next door to Lefty O'Tooles. Monday, June 27th, if necessary game. That's like game 3 of the College World Series. Will be at Gate 10 at noon. And Tuesday, back at Hale Varsity Club, June 28th, to break down everything that happened in downtown Omaha. I can't wait to get started. The games are just minutes away.
You can feel it.
You can really feel the energy in this place all around Omaha. It's something else. And for all the updates, follow us on @HerdAtSports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We will have interviews inside the ballpark with Anna. I'll be out with some of our team in FanFest. We'll be doing interviews with fans, maybe getting more stories like our Warren Buffett story we played today. You can follow @Annabelle Media on Twitter, myself @AndrewRogersTV. Content, like I said, coming your way from all over the place in downtown Omaha. Catch us on location next, June 19th. That's at Zipline at noon. We released our show schedule online. If you forget it, come check us out. It's Bat Flips and Party Tips.